So this is pieces of a form that I learned it named Kwan standing, and it's now called Heaven and Earth Unite, I think. It's from Master Lee. And we begin with the Zongtian movement, which is hands in prayer position and a blowing into the space between the hand, taking your personal essence into your prayers. I'm bringing the top hand, the left hand up over the third eye, the palm over the third eye, and the right hand drops down just under the dantian, cupping the dantian. And then bring the universal chi from above in the heavens down through your body as you lower your hand. Bring it right down through the midline and let it rest in your personal dantian. Feel the earth below rising or solid through your feet. You're already present groundedness. You're already present connection with universal chi. So this is the chi field setting gesture for this practice. Now, when we begin with boat rowing through a stream of air movement, which from this position here, we begin to pay attention to our wrists and our hips. And we will begin with moving the moving the wrists and the elbows forward and the hips back simultaneously. And then shift the wrists and bring the arms back into the hips as the hips come back up to a straight up and down position. And then the hands here are, the lagong is facing the earth. Then shift the wrists again and shift the hips backwards. And then shift the hands and the wrists and bring everything in. So it's done with the breath. Right now I'm going a little slower than my breath, but bring forward and then back, and everything lines up. So when you finish your pant seams, your wrist energy points there, your hips, everything's in a nice line. And then as you go forward, everything opens and then comes back in. So we're opening the chi field front and back and uniting that with our core essence. Works on your breath. It's done with eyes open. At this level, when we're just moving quietly like this, we're keeping our head basically straight ahead, gazing into the spaciousness all around us. It's best, rather than to look at specific things, to just open your eyes into the space that holds everything. So let's keep the hips moving back and forth. To do that, you need to have your stomach muscles engaged, your core muscles engaged. And then let's look at the arms. The wrists, the elbows, and the shoulders all open forward. And then shifting, come back. As we come back, the elbows somewhat straighten. As we go forward, the elbows bend. It's like we were a puppet and there were strings on our wrists, strings on our elbows, and strings on the front part of our shoulder. Shoulder doesn't move nearly as much, but it has that energy of forwardness. And so the whole arm just kind of flows forward. You might think of it like your arms are ribs of a sail and the wind is blowing from behind you. The whole sail that your arms are the ribs of flows forward. And then the wind shifts. And you come back. Don't forget to keep the hips moving with this. The hips are moving because the dantian is pressing back. And then the dantian presses forward. So it's called boat rowing through a sea of air. So you can imagine the wind, imagine floating, flowing freely in a stream of air. And then it is also very similar to if you were sitting in a rowboat, the way you would work with your upper torso. So the gesture can just stay here and be a very peaceful movement. You can also get bigger, and I'll show you the bigger stages, but you'll want to take that in as your shoulder allows. So as the movements rise, that you add more squatting so that your hips get back farther. When you squat like that, you need to keep a nice, strong, straight back and hold your stomach, hold the whole girdle of your stomach muscles and lower back muscles. But otherwise, the gesture is the same. It just has more amplitude. There's more wind in your sails. I sometimes will bring my feet out further when I'm doing the bigger movements. And then I'm also, as I rise up, I'm feeling this rising point where everything's aligned and I'm reaching heaven and I'm reaching earth. So there's this point here that's just, there I am. Open up into everything and come back into central line. Now, when we get really big, we're down here and out like this at the ultimate points, and then back in and out. So there's lots of room under the armpits and lots of, there's much more dynamic in the hips, and the squatting, and the tucking to come in. Let's come back down to where you're gonna be energetically most of the time. I want you to feel what's happening in your pelvis. Feel the pushing back with the tush with your butt, and then tuck, bring it in. So there's a little pelvic floor work happening here as you come in. Most of the time I like to practice with a slow increasing in amplitude and then a slow decreasing in amplitude until I can come in softly. So now I'm bringing it in towards stillness. I just make the same gesture on my breath. So the gesture slows down, doesn't have as far to go on my inhale and my exhale. And it slowly gets pulled like there's a magnet in my dantian. And it gets pulled into the still point. Just quiets. Just quiets like waves on a still pond would quiet after a fish jumped. And personally, I like to take a moment in this still point to sense and feel the still point rather than move quickly on to the next move. But that's your choice here. You can just flow from one move to the other, or you can spend some time drinking in the still point. I let my wrists fully relax down, and then my palms are facing each other as my arms are hanging. And then I'm going to start the next move, which is traveling eastward over the ocean is the name of it. And I feel this connection between my hands. I feel the two logons talking to each other. And I create an imaginary kind of wand or rod between them so that if I push with one, the other one moves. If I push with the right one, the left one moves. So there's a conversation happening between the hands. Okay. Now, what goes on with this move is we're going to open up the chi body side to side. So we're going to start with the dantian here in the middle. And it's as if, this is pretty big dantian, but it's as if the dantian pushes over to my hip and takes the weight over to my leg. And then the dantian pushes over here to the other leg and then pushes back. So the dantian's making this pendulum kind of movement. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, and pushing the hips. So it's the dantian moving the hips. And when the hips move, the weight moves. And you're strong on this one leg, and then you're strong on the other leg. So let the weight shift, even if it's small. You don't want to just stand on two legs and do this thing with your arms. That's just too, not got enough chi. Move it from here. So we have our hands here, and we're going to push the chi just over to the bone of the hip, and the hands move a little bit, and then shift the weight over to the other bone of the hip, and then shift back. Let's just do it small here for a moment, just keeping the energy right in the belly. And the hands are indicative of what's happening inside our belly. So there is this softening of the knee in the direction you're going to go to. Softening my right knee, and then the weight comes into the right leg. Softening my left knee, and the weight comes into my left leg. And then as you take up more and more weight in that leg and make it more dynamic, the hands move with it. So now we're going to let the chi go beyond the bones of the hips and out to the side next to you. Bones are really no barrier for the chi. Our mind can create stop points if we want. All right, so the gist of this is get over here to that swing point of the pendulum, and then to go the other way, there's this softening of the knee, opening up the quad, and the hands follow. And then you soften the knee and open the quad of the other leg, and your hands follow. Now just think of a pendulum or a swing set. Now your shoulders are soft, your shoulder blades are down on your back. Put your shoulder blades in your back pocket. So your chest is open and high. Your chin follows the line of your body as you swing from side to side. But the crown of your head stays in the same place. So the crown of your head is like where you're holding the pendulum. And the arms are leading with the elbow. There's a lot of space under my armpit here. This whole thing swells up this area. And then the wrists change and the arm straightens as it comes back the other direction. And then this side fills up with air and straightens. So this arm is curved. It's being pulled up by a puppet here. And then it follows the other one as the puppeteer decides to move this arm up. And then the puppeteer decides to move the other arm up. Now this, you just like let lots of chi flow right through your shoulder joint. And then let it flow through the other shoulder joint. Just visualize big open channels in your shoulders, elbows, wrists. So there's a certain height that we can get too comfortably. You know what yours is for this moment. I'm going to show you the bigger parts of it. You can take a medium level here where your arms come up to shoulder height, and there's more of this working down here with your legs. There's more engagement through from one leg's taking up while the other leg's releasing, and it's there's more chi, more energy, more deliberateness, more dynamicness. And then we can take it up even another level where we take it up, really up, stretch the whole side of the body, get the hand up high, and then let it sweep way down and up and way down. We're continually having this conversation between the palms of the hands. There's still this rod or wand between them, and we get this whole side body stretches. Now, the face is gonna go with the hands. You don't really look at the hands. You look out that way with the face and out that way. So it's like you're looking at a 45-degree angle and the arms are at the 90 from straight on. But there's some swing with the chin, I guess is what I'm trying to say, as well as the face doesn't just stay forward watching the video. Okay, so I'm going to come down to medium and then come down to where you're going to probably play mostly here in this soft nature of the pulse. So on your breath, inhale in one direction, exhale in the other. Find this turning point of the breath. And watch the chi slosh back and forth in the dantian, in the belly. And let's let the belly call us back home. Let the strength of the dantian, the still point inside the dantian, let's let it magnetize the movements and just draw everything back in. Release through the hips, keep your knees soft. Good posture. Good Huyan Ling Tong, a good free flow from heaven to earth, front to back, side to side. This next move comes from the middle of the set of 10, I think it is, and I generally don't have my feet pretty wide when I'm doing the big ones of that, so I don't bring my feet in a little bit. And it's a bicycle kind of movement with the hands, and we're going to take the hands in a gesture like this. Let's just do one hand to begin with. So we're going to come off of our place with a nice open palm, gathering from the chi around us. The elbow is just a little bit off from the body. The elbow is bending. You're not reaching with your shoulder. The elbow is bending and gathering. And then this tiger's mouth here opens and comes just over the chin, and then palm lands right on your thyroids and comes down the middle line, the energetic middle line of the body to the navel. And then just below the navel, it comes off, and then rotate the forearm and take the palm up and gather again and come in. So the armpit stays open, so there's lots of chi flow through your shoulder, but it's not a big shoulder activity. the elbow, the forearms twisting the hand. So the hand is caressing the body, taking the energy from the universe in deep inside and blessing you. Now, as you come in over the chin, the other hand is coming off of the dantian. And they're cycling. So here you're near the chin and you're near the dantian, and then you touch and leave. Coming in close and you touch and leave. So one hand touches the upper part of your underneath your throat, and the other hand's leaving the dantian. That's the turning point of the breath. You can inhale and exhale as it flows freely. You don't need to keep the movements timed with your breath, but it can happen. It's nice. And then you can let go of some of the stiffness of holding yourself in one place. And we generally, if you go to that level, you don't need to. There's just, as this arm's sweeping up, you're coming across the midline a little bit with your body. And as you're sweeping up, you're rotating over towards the side that your fingertips are pointing towards. Generally, our eyes are open and just taking in the universe around us. And letting ourselves flow out into the universe. It's very reciprocal movement. We want to keep that reciprocity, that free flow of chi. Your shoulder blades are relaxed and down on your back. And you can keep doing this for as long as you wish. It's also a good one, I choose this movement often if my nervous system has gotten jangled by something. And I want to calm myself down. This is really good for calming the body. Reorganizing, rebooting the nervous system. So at some point we choose, okay, I think I'm done here with this. I think I've come into a Qigong state that's pleasant, and I want to call it, finish it. So I'll just leave one hand down at the dantian and bring the other one to join it. I'll come into that, cradling one hand with the other and thumbs together position, and rest there. Digesting, integrating. And then when I want to sort of close the practice, I'll come up into that Zongtian movement again. I'll bring both hands up into prayer pose. Blow my gratitude into my hands for all my teachers. Bring that one palm up to the forehead, one palm down to the cradling under the dantian. And then again, moving heaven and earth together into the dantian. So you're coming down through the body, and you're also just recognizing the deep presence of the earth and the relationship with your dantian. And pausing again for however you wish to conclude with your prayers. And that's your little practice. Thank you.